Let's talk about gravity. A lot of mountain bike games lack realism. Gravity seems lower than in real life. Our test rider Spoke will first try lower gravity and then try higher gravity up to 2G. Let's check out what happens when we simulate different amounts of gravity.
We set up this test track and we'll start with just normal 1G. The test track consists of some terrain features that I have shown in previous videos. It's set up to go from quite easy to quite difficult over a relatively short distance.
Before we get too crazy, let's increase the gravity by 10%. The pump track and rollers seem to be no problem, and the step down is also no problem. But the jump is quite problematic. 50% more gravity. You can see that Spoke is really grinding on that rear tire. Spoke can no longer just roll off the jump. They need to push off pretty hard to get the extra distance, and then just barely make it. The rest of the course goes well enough for Spoke until the next big jump. No matter what we tried, Spoke was not able to clear this jump under the influence of 50% more gravity. Double gravity, 19,600 millimeters per second per second. Pumping over the rollers is a real chore. Spoke builds up an astonishing speed of 66 kilometers an hour. Spoke's arms and legs sag under the heavy load. On the second jump, the gravity is so strong that Spoke does not even get into the air. We strengthened Spoke's arms and legs, but it did not seem to make much difference. Spoke and I need a lot more high gravity training. It just does not feel natural. Reduced gravity by 10%, Spoke loved it. This was their favorite test course. Everything was easier. The jumps, the control, everything went more smoothly. Spoke built up quite a lot of speed, but it was still under control. We did not change the suspension parameters, so the bike started feeling a bit firm. "20% lower gravity. It's getting a bit bouncy. The acceleration is a bit slow, but it's easy to jump quite a bit higher, and easier to over-rotate." We kept practicing under the low gravity. Bounce figured out how to shift their weight just enough to be able to clear this. Half grav. Bounce had to be very delicate going over the bumps. And with that extra practice, we were able to still clear this jump. Actually, that looked really good. But even on flat ground, the bike is really bouncy. So bouncy that even small bumps become a big deal. What would it be like to go biking on the planet Mars? Let's reduce the gravity a little bit more and see how things go. If Spoke stayed really still, then things were relatively smooth. Shifting their weight back had a very different effect in this gravity than before. With all the practice that Spoke has been getting under low gravity, things go pretty well. This is quite a lot of fun. Maybe this was Spoke's favorite run. Even very small movements have a large effect, and even small bumps and gravel knock the bike around. This last jump looks like it's in slow motion, but it goes really well. How about the moon? I think the Earth's moon has about 20% of the gravity of Earth. It is also really nice that the moon is always sunny. I have never seen a picture at night on the moon. Oh, this is terrible. Spoke cannot control the bike at all. Spoke is holding on for dear life. Even at the bottom of this slope, Spoke only gets up to about 20 kilometers an hour. Spoke is not able to control their rotation during takeoff, and the results are disastrous. Okay, Spoke, this time really try to hold still. Well, rolling into this jump Even though Spoke times the jump perfectly, the landing is still a mess. The suspension, I think, is way too firm for this low gravity.
10% gravity. This gravity is really low. The action unfolds very slowly. Any movements are accentuated, and any mistakes become big problems very quickly. It's rare for both wheels to be touching the ground at the same time. What seems to happen is one wheel bounces off the ground, and then the bike rotates so the other wheel bounces off the ground. Acceleration down the hill is also super slow. If you watch closely here, you can see Spoke leave the ground before even clearing the edge of the jump. This means Spoke has pretty much no control over their takeoff. And definitely no control over the landing. Okay, one last try. We'll see if Spoke can do it. Come on, Spoke, we're rooting for you. Oh, I don't think you're gonna make it.